The mood on the street is quite interesting. People are resigned to this war. They really believed all along that the United States did not want a negotiated peace and that there would be a war no matter what Saddam Hussein said, no matter what Iraq was willing to give up. The people want this war over, and they want it over fast. They're still predicting victory, although they don't say victory with a smile. Charles?
Betsy Aaron reporting to us from Baghdad. Thank you, Betsy. David Martin can add something from the Pentagon right now. David?
Charles, I've gotten some reports from some officers following this operation, which I guess you would categorize as even more encouraging than General Schwarzkopf's very upbeat press conference. They say not only is the operation going extremely well, it's going well ahead of schedule. They had planned out the first 3 days of this operation according to a precise timetable. It is ahead of that timetable. Perhaps the single best piece of news is that in the first 3 hours of the war, that goes back to 8 p.m. last night, U.S. casualties were in the single digits. Repeat that. The U.S. casualties in the first 3 hours of the war were in the single digits. Now, obviously, that is news that is too good to stand up for long. As this war goes along, more Americans are going to suffer casualties. The Republican Guards forces, the heart of the Iraqi army, have not yet been engaged. General Schwarzkopf said in his press conference that they had encountered some Republican Guards units, but these were Republican Guards assigned to other divisions. That main body of 5 Republican Guard divisions that are back in southern Iraq have not yet been engaged. It is apparent to the people that are monitoring the reaction of those Republican Guards that they do not know what is happening, that they have been effectively shut down. They have not moved out of their positions. And everything they can tell about what the Iraqi army is doing in response to this onslaught is that they do not know what's going on. There are a number of deception operations going on here. Everything General Schwarzkopf said up there was technically true, but everybody should read those words of his very literally, because he said some things that were factually correct, but designed to mislead the enemy. The enemy may or may not have fallen for those deceptions, but the enemy does not know what's going on. Now, obviously, for Americans and Allied forces, that is good news, but it comes with this caveat that we may be entering the desperate hours of this operation. If you are a commander and you do not know what's going on, you are going to become desperate. And whatever last gasp moves, if any, Saddam has up his sleeve, now may be the time for him to employ them. Other facts that I can add, that as of 2 hours ago, all U.S. forces, that's all of the U.S. divisions, all of the armored cavalry regiments, all of the aviation brigades were employed. That means they were moving into action. That does not mean that they had yet engaged the enemy. The major armored forces did not begin rolling until 3:30 local time in Saudi Arabia yesterday afternoon. Excuse me, I guess that would be this afternoon. I've got my days mixed up. That would be early this morning, our time. But going back, I guess, to the very best news of what I've been told, in the first 3 hours, U.S. casualties were in the single digits. But again, we have to add the caveat that almost by definition has to go higher, as literally hundreds of thousands of troops maneuver across the desert.
Quick look at a map, David, before you go away. The Republican Guards up there on the Kuwait-Iraq border, you say, don't know what's going on. In that case, they're going to be surprised, aren't they, when the U.S. Army comes down on them from the north? This is a sweeping operation that is designed to engage them.
Well, that's true. They're the target. You've heard General Dugan talk about the center of gravity. That's what every military tries to destroy in the enemy. And when you come to the Iraqi army, the center of gravity is the Republican Guards. Those are the elite forces. I can't tell you that we're going to swing down on them from the north. I don't know that. Obviously, we're going to come down on them and come down on them hard. And right now, they're just sitting there, fat targets. The word that was used with me is Republican Guards are shut down.
David Martin at the Pentagon. Let's go directly to the White House, where Wyatt Andrews is standing by. Wyatt?
Charles, good morning again. These obviously are the kind of battle reports that the White House and the administration had planned for, had hoped for, but I've been told did not completely expect. And the public word coming out of administration officials this morning is for most Americans to still be concerned that there could be serious Allied setbacks still out there. Now, the president is a weekly churchgoer. He went to church again very early this morning. About 7 o'clock, he traveled the 300 yards over to one of his favorite Washington churches, that is St. John's Episcopal, taking many of his top administration officials with him, along with 2 of his children and the wives of many of the officials. Prayers were said during this 35-minute communion service, we're told, for all those who seek peace, all of the enemy, and all of the armed forces in the field. U.S. officials this morning report that they are encouraged about a couple of key events, some of which David Martin just reported. The first one is that Secretary Cheney reporting that most of the early defenses that many people had feared have been breached. The other thing, though, Cheney disclosed today that it has always been the Allied plan to move so rapidly, and this is moving so far so well, so rapidly that they would prevent Saddam Hussein, for the moment at least, from using his chemical weapons.
I think the decision ultimately rests with the commanders in the field. Even if they've been authorized to use them, they have to get up the gumption to go ahead and actually use chemical weapons against our forces. And it's not an easy thing to do.
The president's plan today, Charles, is to monitor the situation from the White House. We do not expect to see him. This is very much in his style of not micromanaging the military, having given Norman Schwarzkopf the order to evict Saddam Hussein's forces from Iraq. It will be the president's plan, I'm quite sure, to let Schwarzkopf do that and let him accomplish that mission. Charles?
Wyatt Andrews at the White House, thank you. We have much more to tell you about the conduct of this ground war, and this special edition of Sunday Morning will continue.